What's going on YouTube? This is Austin here from Austin, Dakota, coming at you again with another video for you guys tonight. And tonight, I thought I would do something really cool considering I wrapped up my rock and metal CD collection. Tonight I thought I would show my old school rap CD collection. I'm gonna break this up into several parts. Considering I have like so many rap CDs, it's not funny. So this will be multiple parts. This might not run as long as my rock and metal CD collection, but we'll find out. So let's waste no more time, crack on with the first CD. So first CD I'm going to show is Grand Hustle presents Grand Hustle into Streets Volume 4. This came out in 2006, I believe. Yeah. 2006. Not too familiar with Grand Hustle. I guess Grand Hustle is a production company. I'm going to assume that. But yeah, very good. Sorry for the glare. There's like a massive glare. Very good compilation. Got like T.I. on here. But yeah, it's good. Got like T.I. and all that on here. T.I., Young Dro, Big Country King. Very good rappers on here. Oh, I drop it. If you can find it, pick it up. Grand Hustle presents Grand Hustle presents Into Streets Volume 4. Definitely check it out. Released in 2006. Next album. Eric B. and Rakim with Paid in Full, released in 1987. This album is a must for any fans of hip-hop. This album put hip-hop on the map. So many good tracks. I could honestly listen to this album all day. I mean, we got like I Ain't No Joke, My Melody, Eric B is President, I Know You Got Soul, Move the Crowd, Paid in Full, Eric B is President. Yeah, Eric B is on the cut. Such an amazing album. Definitely check this one out if you haven't already. Eric B does all the beats on here and they're really good. Coincidentally, this is one of my most sought after albums, but I'm happy I finally got it. Eric B and Rakim with Paid in Full, released in 1987. Next album. MF Doom and Madlib make up Madvillain. This is their only album, Madvillainy, released in 2004. This album is also a must-own. This is a flawless album in my opinion. Not a single bad track on this album. Not a single bad track. Money Folder was a single. And All Caps was a single as well. Highly recommend this album. Amazing album. I mean, Madlib doing all the beats. And you got the classic MF Doom sound on here. Just absolutely incredible. If I had to pick my favorite track off this album, I would probably say... I don't know. There's so many good songs on this album. I could honestly say the whole album. But if I had to pick one, I'd probably say Fancy Clown. Definitely. I think that was a single. I'm not sure. But highly recommend this. MF Doom and Madlib with Madvillainy, released in 2004. Good luck trying to find this album. I believe this album is out of print. Sorry guys, I'm responding here to my brother. Next up, 50 Cent, his debut album, Get Rich or Die Trying, released in 2003. I remember when this album first came out. Now, I didn't even start listening to music until I was about, like, maybe 6 or 7, and my music taste was very, very picky. I liked some stuff, and some of it I didn't like, but I got hooked onto rap when I was in high school. And 50 was my first rapper I listened to. Classic album here, but it wasn't this album that got me hooked on 50. It was actually the song I'm the Man that he did with Sunny Digital and the remix he did with Chris Brown. Both songs are absolutely phenomenal. But then I gave this album a listen and wow. Blew my mind. Such a classic album here. Definitely check this out. Singles off the album are In the Club, which was his breakthrough single. That was a big single that came out in 2003. PIMP was a single. 21 Questions and If I Can't. Definitely check this album out. The producers were Dr. Dre and Eminem. I love this album. Such an amazing album. So freaking good. Definitely check this album out. 50 Cent with Get Rich or Die Trying, released in 2003. If I had to choose my favorite track, I'd probably say High All the Time. Definitely check this album out. Sorry, my albums are not one to cooperate. Anyways, Nas, Illmatic, released in 1994. This is a must-own for any hip-hop head. Whether you're a fan of hip-hop or not, you should have this album. Because this album revolutionized hip-hop and changed the landscape of what hip-hop really was. Nas, his first appearance on Wax was on Main Source's debut album titled Breaking Atoms that came out in 1991. And it was the song Live at the Barbecue. Then eventually, he would go on to release this album, and it's absolutely brilliant. Highly recommend this. I mean, The World Is Yours, Life's a Bitch, with AZ's first appearance on Wax. Everyone should know who AZ is. I mean, the rapper known for Do or Die, 9 Lives, I believe 9 Lives, Pieces of a Man, and AWOL. But yeah, I would recommend this album. All killer, no filler, in my opinion. People prefer It Was Written over this album just because of the production. I can see why. But Nas was just getting his start in rap when he first released this album and when he was on Live at the Barbecue. So, give or take on that. But yeah, great album. Nas with Illmatic, released in 1994. Next up, I need to get more of this group. And I'm talking about Cypress Hill. This is their album, Black Sunday. There you go, released in 1993. One of my favorite Cypress Hill albums. In my opinion, I think the first 3 Cypress Hill albums are the best. Self-Titled, this album, and Temples of Boom. I think this album is darker than the debut. Yeah, I would recommend this album a whole lot. Very good album. Singles off this album are... Singles off this album are Insane in the Brain, When the Goes Down, or When the Ship Goes Down, I Ain't Going Out Like That, and Lick a Shot. Those are the 4 singles. Recommend this album. If you're just getting into Cypress Hill, wait to listen to this album. Listen to the first album and then listen to Black Sunday. Because this album, the production is more darker and more grittier than this debut, which I have. I have the first three. If someone was to ask me what's my favorite Cypress Hill album, I would honestly say Temples of Boom. But this album, definitely recommend it. Cypress Hill with Black Sunday, released in 1993. Dope album. Speaking of Cypress Hill and the debut album, here it is from 1991. Like I said, this album is dark, but not as dark as Black Sunday. I think they were just dipping their toes into the water with this album. But at the same time, though, I think this is still a good album. Just my opinion for Temples. Singles off this album are, I believe, the Funky Feel one, with the B-side being How I Could Just Kill a Man. Pigs. Hole in the Head and Latin Lingo. I think those are the singles. Still though, I love this album. I just think Temples of Boom is better. But yeah, like I said, if you're getting into Cypress Hill, listen to this, then go on to Black Sunday, and then go to Temples of Boom. I would recommend this album. Definitely check this album out. Cypress Hill, self-titled, released in 1991. Had to skip a song, sorry. Next up, Too Short, Get In Where You Fit In. I believe this is his 8th album, I believe. Released in 1993. I'm a fan of Too Short, but I like the Short Dogs in the House era. Too Short, this was still a good album. This was a blind buy for me. Just because I'm so familiar with Too Short's song The Ghetto off Short Dogs in the House, I prefer that kind of Too Short, but this Too Short is good. Singles off the album are, I believe, I'm a Player and Money in the Ghetto are the two singles. I like this one. But yeah, not my favorite Too Short album. I still say Short Dogs in the House. Still the best album by Too Short. It's just, I mean, it was mixed by Ant Banks, which obviously everyone should know who Ant Banks is. Todd Shaw. The production was good. I just wish Too Short went back to the Ghetto roots. The Short Dogs in the House roots. Like, if you like the song The Ghetto and Short Dogs in the House, then you can appreciate this album. But yeah, I'd still recommend it. It's still a good album. Too Short with Get In Where You Fit In, released in 1993. Alright, next up, Westside Connection with Bow Down, released in 1996. This album is essential for any hip-hop head. Love this album, one of my all-time favorites. Westside Connection is made up of Ice Cube, Mac 10, and WC. Ice Cube, everyone should know who he is, obviously, from the famed NWA group, America's Most Wanted, Death Certificate, The Predator, all that. Mac 10, everyone should know who he is. He released that Backyard Boogie single, and Dub C from the Mad Circle with Curb Servant. Obviously, everyone should know Dub C. How these guys came about, or how these guys got together, they were featured on Oh, and part of the jewel case just broke. Shows you how long I've had this album for. Well, that's okay. It's still good. How these guys came together. Ice Cube and Dub C were on Mac 10's debut album, I believe, and the song Westside Slaughterhouse. They actually aimed that song at Common because they thought the song I Used to Love Her off Common's second album, The Resurrection, which came out in 1994, was a diss. It wasn't. So they dissed him on Westside Slaughterhouse, and then they put out this album. Love this album. Unfortunately, this album and Terrorist Threats are the only albums these guys put out. Unfortunately, there were some issues within the group, and it led to them breaking up, but I still love Bow Down. Singles off this album are Bow Down and Gangsters Make the World Go Around. King of the Hill, I believe either WC or Mac 10 is not featured on that because they had no problems with Cypress Hill. Cypress Hill dissed Westside Connection on the song No Rest for the Wicked. Man, very good album. Definitely check this out. Westside Connection with Bow Down, released in 1996. Alright, I'm going to show one more album for this part, and we will conclude part 1 of my rap CD collection. And that album would be Big Pun, or Big Punisher, Capital Punishment, released in 1998. Absolutely love this album. What more could be said about Big Pun that already has been said? Big Pun, obviously known for his affiliation with the Beatnuts, Fat Joe. He was known for his affiliation with Fat Joe because Fat Joe put him on the song Watch Out off Fat Joe's second album, Jealous One's Envy, released in 1995. I'm trying to find that album. Then afterwards, he went out on his own, put out this masterpiece of an album. Easily one of my favorite MCs of all time, based on this album alone. Just based on this album alone, one of my favorite rappers of all time. Not Big Pun, but one of my favorite posse cuts right here. 60-Second Assassins with Lazy Bone, Crazy Bone, Twista, and Jazzo, and Busta Rhymes is on here too. Amazing. Singles off this album are Still Not a Player, I'm Not a Player, Twins Deep Cover 98 with Fat Joe, I think Fat Joe is on there, and You Came Up. Those are the 4 singles off the album. Highly recommend this. If you're a big fan of the Beatnuts, Fat Joe, and good music, I would definitely recommend this. Unfortunately, after he put out Yeah Baby, he passed away, sadly. But yeah, definitely recommend this. Big Pun with Capital Punishment, released in 1998. Alright guys, so that's it. That's it for part 1 of my old school rap CD collection. Come on back for part 2. Like I said, this one might not run as long as my rock and metal CD collection. I'm not sure yet. Stay tuned for more. Thank you guys very much for watching. If you guys enjoyed, please comment, like, and subscribe down below. Be sure you hit the bell so that way you don't miss any more videos like this in the near future. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next video.